I just got out of the theaters witnessing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem on the big screen at an early access screening, and I have some things that I want to talk about for this film, guys. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the review. Let's go. What's going on, you guys? The Demigod back on Demigod ET, bringing you another movie review for TMNT Mutant Mayhem, the newest representation for the Ninja Turtles on the big screen, our latest screening of these characters, and this time it's in an animated film, which I believe is the first time they've done this. Of course, there's been animated series throughout the years back in the day, which I definitely liked those, and I felt like this kind of leaned into that a bit more. It definitely reminded me of the old animated series, and I gotta say, guys, this is by far the best on-screen representation we've ever seen of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, including all of the live action films we've had before. Of course, those weren't that great. Now, with that being said, how was this as a TMNT film? This was fantastic. Let's go ahead and talk about it. So, after years of being sheltered from the human world, the Turtle brothers set out to win the hearts of New Yorkers and be accepted as normal teenagers. Their new friend April O'Neil helps them take on a mysterious crime syndicate, but they soon get in over their heads when an army of mutants is unleashed upon them. Now, this movie plays out more as an origin story, whereas we're introduced to the Turtles as teenagers, which is fantastic, by the way. They're actually teenagers inside of this film. It's believable. We also get flashback scenes and backstories that fill us in on everything that went on and how they came to be. You know, the classic story, the ooze in the sewers, with Master Splinter raising them, of course, who is inside this film, played by Jackie Chan, who does a fantastic job voicing Master Splinter, which, by the way, all of the voice acting inside of this film is top notch, and there's so much talent inside of here. And when it comes to the ninjas inside of this film, Raphael, Donatello, Michelangelo, Leonardo, they're all fantastic. All of their personalities are represented very well. They're all different and unique in their own ways, yet they all mix together like a family. They tell tons of jokes inside of this film, which, by the way, this movie is hilarious from start to finish. And one of my favorite characters inside this film was the Fly, played by Ice Cube, who is actually the villain inside of this movie. And I gotta say, Ice Cube damn near carries this entire film. And that's not to say that the overall film isn't great. It is, but Ice Cube is just that good inside of this movie. He has so many great one-liners, and they kind of let him be himself with this role and just tap into his natural personality, which works fantastic with this character. I promise you guys are going to love him inside this movie. But on top of getting all the characters correct with their personalities and their voice acting, this movie also has a fantastic soundtrack inside of here. It incorporates so much classic hip-hop from New York, which, by the way, New York plays a big role inside of this movie. You definitely feel like they are in New York City. There's tons of pop culture references and certain dialogues and slang that they use that comes from New York. If you know, you know. And it's hilarious when you see it inside of here. But not only do you get that classic hip-hop music inside of here, you get other genres of music as well, and they implement them perfectly into these scenes, especially the action scenes in this film. And I think they have a really strong script here with this movie. It's very well written from start to finish. There's a character arc that our characters go on, not just the Ninja Turtles, but also Master Splinter, and also the human character inside of this film that you heard me slightly mention there during the description, that being April O'Neil, which, by the way, when it comes to them including human characters into movies that are purely about non-human characters, it typically doesn't go well, such as the Transformers movies, as we've seen plenty of times. But in this film, they do it in a very respectable way, and you actually end up liking this character, April O'Neil, as she's one of the first friends that the Turtles end up making inside of the human world. And now it's time to talk about one of the most important parts of this film that I haven't spoken on yet: the animation. I mean, the animation going into this film, it's clearly inspired by Into the Spider-Verse. You can definitely feel that here with how unique this animation feels and how abstract it is at times, especially with the characters' faces. And the fact that they just took a risk on the art style and tried out, you know, plenty of different styles of animation, it really makes this movie feel like its own and feel truly unique to itself, which I definitely appreciate. It does take, you know, a few minutes to get into what they're trying to do with it, though. And is it as strong as Spider-Verse's animation? No, That's like 10 out of 10 animation right there. But this right here is a very good second, and I love what they did in that department. Now, with that being said, guys, this is a fantastic movie. By far the best on-screen representation of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I definitely appreciated it, considering I was a huge fan of these characters as a kid, and I haven't really seen any TMNT content in quite some time, plenty of years by now. So this really tapped into something for me. I really appreciated this one. I think you guys are going to like this one too. And with that being said, let's go ahead and drop the official rating for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. I give this film a 9 out of 10. It gets the 9 out of 10. Fantastic stuff that they did here. I can't wait to see more. There is a little post-credit scene, so make sure you stay after, because they do set up a next movie and give a little hint towards a character that's coming, which I'm sure a lot of you are going to be excited about. And this movie definitely confirms a point that I've been thinking in my head for quite some weeks now, and that's that 2023 is the year of the animated movies. We've gotten so many fantastic animated films that dropped in theaters this year, and I've loved almost every single one of them, from Spider-Verse to Elemental to TMNT, and there's been quite some other ones too. So I'm just really happy that we're getting fantastic films in the theater. It makes me extremely satisfied as a film fan. But I gotta say, one sad thing about this film is that almost no one's going to even know this is dropping because of the SAG strike that's going on in Hollywood right now. So unfortunately, the actors weren't able to do any promotion for this film. So I'm sure, you know, a lot of you guys haven't even heard of it outside of maybe seeing the initial trailer, which I didn't get to see, by the way. I walked in this movie blind, which was an amazing experience. And I think this movie is more than likely going to fail at the box office, and that makes me very sad because it's so good and I would love to see a second one, and I hope it does well. I definitely recommend you guys go out and support this one at the box office and show your love and support to this film, which, by the way, like I mentioned earlier, I did see this at an early access screening, which is usually a respectable crowd, but this crowd right here was the absolute worst I've experienced in quite some time. I mean, there was parents coming in with their children. This crowd was almost all children, which I understand. It's a TMNT movie, but don't bring them to the theater if you can't keep your kids in control. I mean, there was kids screaming and yelling and walking around and blurting out and shouting, and people coming in halfway through the movie and shining their lights to find their seats. I mean, it was absolute chaos, absolute madness, the worst theater experience I've experienced of the year. And I just had to get that off my chest, man. With that being said, those are my thoughts on the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem film. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section down below. If you don't know why you're here on Demigod, you need to do commentaries, reactions, interviews. So you're seeing that in the right place, man. Hit subscribe, hit the like button. I drop multiple videos a week on the channel. You can expect that of me if you don't already know. And the Demigod, the chosen one here on Demigod ENT. I'm out of this thing, man. I'll catch you on the next video. Peace.